We had the pleasure to walk through the Money Museum today and the journey of these old coins. So as you know, we started all as humans trading with goods. So we had milk for eggs and trading these simple things. And then later on it was commodities we used, like gold, nuggets, or silver, or other precious things. But then somehow money was introduced, like gold coins, what we saw in the museum. But what I didn't know is like, how do you create demand? So when you run a kingdom and you want to introduce your own gold coin, how do you create a demand that people will actually use it? So these kings and other later governments introduced something to create a natural demand by brutal force, and this is taxes. So you want to get my gold coin, which I introduce, if I tell you that you need to pay 10 of the shekels or shillings or francs to me at the end of the month as a tax, and if not, you get in trouble or you will be killed. Right? So this is how kings or emperors introduced natural demand for their own currencies. We don't think about it that much, but it is still the case globally a lot. And then the second aspect is that what I found very interesting is fiat money was then introduced later, so paper money. And now this term fiat also was not used. For me, now it's more commonly used to separate digital to fiat and paper money models. But do you know what's the average lifetime, lifespan of a fiat money? Does anybody has a guess? 10 years? Euro, you all know? More than 10 years? Yeah, come to a point where it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't have any value. And I think a more closer example is also the Turkish lira, which had 40–50% inflation. We also notice it with euro, right? So what is money? And I learned a lot about this. But now we are at this point where we have a digital format of money. And when you look at Bitcoin, it's fascinating because this anonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, wanted to create something which is not able to be manipulated. It run Bitcoin nodes, and the more you participate, the more you gain also with these block rewards. This is called mining, right? So when Bitcoin had been introduced, it's a new alternative as a digital gold. As the transactions are not that fast, it's probably not the best way for daily transactions. But that's why the Bitcoin core community and developers developed Bitcoin Lightning, which is on top of Bitcoin. It makes it super fast and efficient. But all the governments, if you remember, going back to the taxes and their influence and power, they don't like Bitcoin because they can't control it. They can't influence the supply. They can't print more money. So that's why there's a lot of central bankers who are now thinking, let's get the benefits of a digital form of money, but have still the control. So there's these central bank digital currencies. And on a private sector, you've seen the first form of a tokenized asset, which had been stablecoins. The stablecoin is a digital form of a fiat money representative, and the most famous ones are US dollar stablecoins. We've now seen with USDT, Tether, the most famous one, and Circle just behind, and now there are hundreds of other ones competing for the market. But with Tether, for example, their biggest growth came from non-Western